JDL USA presents Rabbi Nachum Shifren, Torah scholar, author, public speaker, and good friend of the late Rabbi Meir Kahana.
Well, welcome back. The faithful are assembled once again. Welcome back to the JDL podcast. And we are at the entrance of the Passover holiday. If you're feeling like you're going to go mad at any moment here, that you're over it, you can't take it anymore, trust me, there's millions of other Jews that are feeling just like you. But guess what? It's all about the process. It's all about that chametz is, it's funny how chametz is, when it's in normal bread, it's fantastic. Matter of fact, the Rambam says if you don't have chametz, you're probably not going to have a very good life. So why is chametz such a bad thing? Well, I'll refer you to Ecclesiastes, where it says there's a time and place for everything. Time and place for chametz, time and place for matzah. The Mavin Yavin. Anyway, pretty simple stuff, not too complicated. But there's a time when each one of us gets almost over our border, as it were. Well, so here we are, just a few days before the Passover holiday, and I have to tell you that we have a situation here with JDL that I want to make it clear. Those people that are ready to throw bombs at Palestinians or knife people or stab people or whatever, it doesn't work that way. It never worked that way, and every nation in the world, Gentile, Jew, whoever. Anybody that has that kind of a thing in their organization, they root it out. And it's called vetting. And so we, like everybody else, have to vet people. Can't have people that are psychotic or, have issues with people with whatever, and, are triggered easily to do bizarre, radical, and destructive things. It doesn't work that way. In the end, JDL, in its time, Rabbi Kahana used the JDL to make points, especially with the radicals, with the black, the Black Panthers during the 60s, and other people, to show them that we're not a bunch of suckers here. We're not going to sit there and let them dictate to us what's going to happen with our lives. But that was with the strict control of Rabbi Kahana at the head, and with vetting, and with all kinds of organizational stuff going on. We can't have people just coming into the JDL just starting their own, subgroups or whatever, for the sake of doing what? Besmirching, in the end, the name of the JDL. Nothing's going to be accomplished. You'll have the FBI and police involved, and we don't need that. What we need is Jews that are proud to be Jewish, and that when the time comes, when there's an organizational push for a certain operation, then we could reactivate things. But nobody does stuff on their own here in the JDL. Okay, we have to have a organization, and that's standard for all organizations. I was talking to a very, very good friend of mine who is a scriptwriter in Hollywood, and this individual is a genius, brilliant, erudite, an amazing Renaissance person, as we should say, And she is at the end of a rope trying to write a pilot for a program. And I said to her, I'm saying this is very strange, but not so strange when you think about it. I sent her a video of some surfers on Maui at a place called Jaws. Some of you may have heard of it. If you didn't, don't worry. It's probably the most radical surfing place in the world, where one slip and you could be dead, if you don't do it the right way. And I pointed out in the video, there's two kinds of people surfing out there. One, the waves are big. Everybody's out there that knows what they're doing. They're in great shape, and they're all good surfers. But there's a difference. The ones that commit themselves, that go over that ledge of that wave where the lip is, with self-confidence and determination, they're the ones that make it. The ones that, for one split second, vacillate or have, there's a lack, maybe a small lack of self-confidence, those are the people that get really hurt. And I think that motif can go all through life, right? Don't you think? What separates winners from everybody else? Going that extra mile, uh, working hard at something, but it's also self-determination and self-confidence. You have to know who you are, and you have to build up your confidence so that you'll know that you're a winner and you're not going to accept defeat. And when you have that combination, it's pretty hard to be vanquished. You're going to succeed. And I told that to this individual, and the point was made. When we talk about the exodus out of Egypt, many of you, or some of you at least, will know that the word Mitzrayim, Egypt, right? The shoresh, the root, is also Metzarim. And if you do a little bit of a massage of the word itself, you can use the same letters, but Metzarim is different from the word Mitzrayim, which means Egypt. Metzarim is limitations, or limits, or even boundaries. The Jews in Egypt, for the 210 years that they were there, they had no Torah. They had nothing other than hard work and abuse. And it seemed to them like all was, when they finally did leave Egypt, it was only 1/5 of the Jews left, right? What happened to the other 4/5? They didn't want to go to the desert. They didn't trust Moses. They thought that they were going to get a bad deal there. They didn't believe that God was going to go forth with his promise, that he promised to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob to give them a land of milk and honey. They didn't believe it. And they were left in Egypt. But what I wanted to point out is, in Hasidus and the Kabbalah, is filled with examples of being in Egypt, in the Metzarim, in the limitations of who we are as a human being. Let's talk straight about psychology. Forget about being Jewish for a moment. Metzarim are limitations. And each one of us goes through this. Each one of us has to look at ourselves and do a cheshbon nefesh, as they say, an accounting of the soul. And right before Passover, it couldn't be a better time to do that. We do that during Yom Kippur, of course. But Passover, when we eat the matzah, it reminds us of, matzah's flat. There's no leavening. It's called lachma anya, the bread of affliction, meaning there's no leavening in it. It's something that represents, symbolically at least, a lower type of expectation. That's totally in line with the idea of limitations of being in Egypt, no mitzvahs, no Torah, all those 10 plagues and all the signs that Moses did, whether it was with the frogs or the blood in the water or the insects or whatever it was, that was in order to show the Jewish people that God is going to keep his promise. When the Jewish people saw that the water in the Nile River turned into blood, that was a pretty stark reminder of what their legacy is. And this was one of the reasons for it, for those plagues and those signs. So the limitations of not knowing who you are, not knowing what your potential is, not knowing what ultimately is going to be with you, this is something that really is very, very, it's a sticky situation for people when everybody here knows somebody else that has issues with being limited, that their mind can't conceptualize success, for example, or getting off of drugs, or stopping smoking, or getting through their law examinations, whatever it is, right? This is the message of Passover. One of the messages that we don't hear too often. It's there, and that's what I wanted to devote a couple of minutes to. Again, it says that it's an interesting thing. It runs through my mind continuously. In the Zohar, the book of the Kabbalah, it says that the time of prayer, it says shat slutha shat krava, right? The time of prayer is a time of battle. Time of prayer is a time for battle? That doesn't seem right. When you're praying, you're at ease, you're contemplating, you're you're marinating in the greatness and the glory of God, and that He kept us alive every second of the day. All these things, very profound things. Why would prayer be a time for battle? Well, those of you that are connected with Chabad in any way and read the book of Tanya, it talks about that. It talks about how a person is basically as an animal soul, and the animal soul wants nothing to do but eat, drink, and be merry, right? Turn on a video and, pop open a beer, and that's it. So this is called a battle, a war. And God gave us an opportunity to overcome our limitations in order to get closer to Him, in order to see something other than the material world. Yeah, there's a song. I think it's by the Eagles. You guys remember the Eagles? It says, "Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy." Remember that? We get caught up in our work and our job and our making a living and finding a place to park and getting ketchup for our hot dog, whatever it is, and we've completely forgotten who we are. What's our purpose here? If it was for just those things, why are we different from the animals? We're not. The animals are just grazing, looking for some water, looking for some straw to eat. They never look up, though. You ever notice that the only animal really on the earth that ever looks up, that his head can rise up toward heavens, is us. But we're also capable of animal behavior, as we've seen throughout history, right? No need to go into detail there. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So the message of Passover, hopefully this Passover, I myself included, not only just you and your friends, but myself, my family, it's to look at life with a certain energy, a certain attitude. Shat sluta, shat krava. The time of prayer is this battle with ourselves, who we are. Get rid of the schmutz, get rid of the chametz, get rid of the leavening, which is not in the matzah, which is why we eat matzah. This whole thing of being all puffed up, the bread is big, whereas the matzah is flat, right? This thing of cheshbon nefesh, an accounting of the soul, of thinking about who we are, what our attitude should be, what we can do to get closer to who we really are and get closer to God at the same time. So with that, I would like to wish everybody a happy Passover, and we can only hope that the Jewish people in Israel will very, very soon overcome the obstacles and the tremendous challenges that they have. And this is a very serious time, and I pray to God that this ends soon, because we're at the end of our rope. But we've been this way since a long time, right? So let's each of us do what we can to make things better in the world. It says in the Rambam that if we do one good deed, it could, on that scale of negatives and positives, it could balance, it could weigh, the scale could weigh in order for the whole world to be blessed by anything that we do. That's the way we should look at doing a good deed. With that, I wish everybody a happy Passover. God bless you all. Please help the JDL. Please give a donation. Now is a good time to do it. Passover is the time where your donation really, really would make a big difference. God bless everybody. Chag Sameach, Chag Pesach Sameach, Kasher. And we should only hear good news. All the best.